Welcome back to the channel, folks. I am Matt. Hope you're all doing well. Today, we're going to check out the Pop Reel N1 from Uwell. And it says Yearn for Fun. So I'm kind of wondering if this series is taking over the Yearn series, because they said there are going to be more devices in the Pop Reel line as well. What this is a very simple and inexpensive pod system that has the Pro Fox technology. Let's go ahead and dive into it. So basically what you see is what you get. This does not come with a second pod, also does not come with a USB-C cable. I'm assuming to keep the cost down. This thing is around 20 bucks or so. I've even seen it cheaper than that in some places. It does have a built-in 520 milliamp hour battery. You do have a little light indicator right there, and that will go from green to blue to red depending on your battery level. So green is highest, blue is like 30 to 60%, and under 30% is red. Made out of plastic with this nice design on it. I like the way it looks. You know, I think they were basically saying in the literature, they want to go after more of a pop design, you know, whatever's popular at the time. And so expect the Pop Reel device line to be on the trendier side. And, you know, I think this is well done. It looks nice. It's plastic, but it looks nicer than a lot of all plastic pod systems. On that side right there, it does say Pop Reel. You got your USB-C port on the bottom for charging. On that side, it says Uwell. Yours will not say sample. You got a little airflow hole right there and nothing on that side. So just one airflow hole right there. The pods are held in by magnets. You are going to have to pull this sticker off the bottom here. And there's what the bottom looks like. You got your two contacts, your airflow on the sides there, and this is magnetic, so it's held in. The metal is magnetic, so that's how it's held in. You got a vertical 1.2 ohm mesh coil inside using their Pro Fox technology. So it's going to be similar to the 1.2 ohm Caliburn G coils and things of that nature. This one, however, does have a side fill port. It's not a top fill port. So there's what your mouthpiece looks like. Kind of shaped like the Caliburn G series, I would say, even though it's not, you know, flat black, you can see through it. So let's go ahead and fill this thing. You open this up right here, and I'm going to use some unsalted banana ice in 12 milligram. And these pods do hold 2 mLs of liquid. When done, you just plug that up like so, wipe any excess off. Now, with a fresh pod like this, you do want to let it sit for a few minutes so this wicking in here can get nice and saturated. If you want to speed that along, you could do a couple primer puffs on the pod without it being connected to the device, or you could put 1 to 2 drops down from the top, but keep in mind that might make it slightly gurgly for your first few vapes, and then it will go away. So there's what the inside of the device looks like. You do have contacts, your magnets, a draw activation switch down in there, and the pods just fit in like so. And you'll see this light indicator blink at you when it connects, or disconnects actually. See that? And that's basically it. So it's a simple pod system made by Uwell, so you know the performance is going to be good, and at a bit of a cheaper price. There's what it looks like in the hand. Very, very lightweight. Now, compared to something like the Caliburn G, here's what those look like. Caliburn G has a little bit bigger battery, so it is going to be a bit taller. This definitely feels lighter. This thing feels like nothing in the hand. And here's the other one I've been using. It's kind of a cream or rose gold, light rose gold or something. I'm not sure. All right, guys, that is it for the up close. Let's go ahead, go up top, vape these, and talk about them a little more. All right, here's the Pop Reel N1 from Uwell, 12 milligram inside of here. No wattage adjustment, no airflow adjustment, obviously. Let's go ahead and have a vape. It's definitely a tighter draw than something like the Caliburn A2. I would call this a true medium MTL draw. So, you know, a 1.2 ohm pod on the Caliburn A2 would be too cool for me, but because you have less airflow on this, it warms it up, and it actually makes it a fairly warm vape, even though it's a 1.2 ohm pod. I would like to see a 1 ohm pod with this as well, but I'm not sure if they're going to be coming out with that or not. Flavors there, it tastes like a Uwell coil. I mean, you know what that flavor's like. It's awesome right out of the gate. Their pod systems, their pod mods, all that stuff are always like this. I think, I'm not sure, but I think that I could do a blind vape test and I could tell you what's a UL product and what isn't. Even if you changed up the mouthpieces and stuff, I think I could just from their coils. So let's talk pros and cons. Cons first. First off, they only give you one pod, which, you know, I get it. Like they're trying to make this more inexpensive, but still would have been nice if they included a second pod in this, especially if, you know, say something doesn't work with the first pod or something of that nature. And there's no USB-C cable either, but I do think that a good portion of people out there nowadays already have a USB-C. So we could count that as a con. Also, it's side fill instead of top fill. Takes a little bit longer to do, but not a huge deal. You know, again, they're making this an inexpensive device that still has their, you know, ProFox technology inside. Only other thing worth mentioning is that you do get a slight buzzing sound, which is normal with a lot of these pod systems. I noticed, depending on if there's any regulation going on inside there or whatever, they say you're getting 10 watts off of this. That doesn't bother me, the buzzing, but it's there. It's very faint. So worth mentioning. Now, going into pros, the performance is awesome, which is to be expected. And I thought that this 1.2 ohm pod probably wouldn't be warm enough for me, but it is. And that's because the airflow is quite a bit tighter than something like the Caliburn A2. And the tighter the airflow is, the warmer the vapor is, you know, depending on ohm load and other things. So, you know, it's plenty warm enough. I would call it a medium warmth, a medium, maybe even bordering on tight MTL draw. The vape quality is there. I do kind of wish that they made the mouthpiece just a slightly different shape though. It's very Caliburn G-ish, but I would have preferred it to be maybe more like the Caliburn A2 where it's thinned out and maybe a little bit pointier, if that makes sense. But there's just no doubt that the vape quality is there, and that's what's to be expected from a UL pod system product. It's freaking awesome as far as the vape quality goes. Flavor is fantastic right out of the gate. It's a very satisfying vape. So who's this for? You know, somebody that's maybe jumping from a disposable and wants to try their first refillable product and they don't want to spend too much money on it. It'd be worth trying out for sure. You know, somebody that loves UL pod systems and just likes the look of this thing, they want something super lightweight and basic, then it's worth trying out for sure. I tend to use most of UL's pod systems. I like them all, except for the original Caliburns. I wasn't super keen on those, but this newer gen, the A2, the AK2, the Caliburn G2, so on and so forth, love them. And this is no exception. It definitely has that more tighter airflow urine style vape if you've tried a urine before, and I think people are going to like it if you like a true MTL vape. Definitely one I'm going to continue to use because I just love UL's coils. I know, I'm kind of a UL fanboy. It's silly. But I just love the flavor you get off their coils. The ramp up is perfect, and there's just something about them. I can't put my finger on it, but there's something about UL coils where I can just tell a difference usually. Anyway, let's go ahead and end it there. It is going to come in multiple different colors. That about wraps it up. Until next time, thanks for watching. Suck my mod.